everybody, and welcome to Cooking It Real. I'm Kathy, and today I'm going to bring you some more sourdough crackers, sourdough discard crackers. A lot of you have watched my sourdough discard cracker videos, and I'm really glad you did. I appreciate each and every one of you. But I'm going to bring you a couple of new flavors now. There's always something new in the world of sourdough crackers. But the first thing I have to do is feed my starter. Let's just do a quick recap on how I do that. All right, to start, here's my starter. It's been sitting in my fridge for a couple of weeks, and I think I'm going to bring it up close so you can see. You can see the layer of hooch that I have floating on the top. Now, there's nothing wrong with hooch. You can either stir it in or you can pour it off, and I think I'm going to pour it off. See that? That's just the liquid that it separated. It has kind of a strong odor. Some people say it smells like nail polish remover or something like that. I don't think it's usually that strong, but I'm going to give it a sniff just in case. No, it just smells sour. And you know, if I really wanted to intensify the sour flavor of my sourdough, I would stir it in. But I'm going to feed this twice actually, so I'm just going to pour it off this time. Now let me show you another thing. Now this is my discard jar. And I have like almost the same amount of discard as I do of my sourdough. And almost all of this is going to be going into this jar. But I need that to make my crackers. So let's get started. Okay, so I poured off the hooch, and this is my starter. You see it looks kind of dull and flat, lifeless. Let's give it something to eat. I have my scale here. I'm going to give my starter just a quick stir. And whenever I feed my starter, I like to use a clean jar. So this is just a basic jar, nothing fancy, nothing special. I put it on my scale, turn it on to grams, 0, and I'm going to add at least 50 grams of this rested starter. But it depends on however much I get in there. I have a ratio for it. So 59, 60 grams. Okay, 60 grams. Keep that in mind. Put this to the side. Now I'm going to take my discard jar, and this has a bunch of hooch in it too. I think I'm going to pour that off. Give that a smell. That smells nice and sour. And I'm just going to take the rest of what's in this jar and put it in my discard. Now for each cracker recipe, I need 1 cup. So I've got I got maybe 2 cups in here. Maybe not. We'll just have to see. But I'll be making more, so I'll be feeding again. So I'll have a little bit more starter in just a few hours. All right. So that is going to go sit in the fridge again until I need it, until I'm ready to use it. And now let's get back to our feeding our starter. All right, so we're at 60 grams. We're going to zero that out again, and now I'm going to add 2 times the amount of water to starter, and then 2 times the amount of flour to starter. So for 60 grams, I need 120 grams of water. All right, so that's at 0. Now I start adding water till I get to 120 grams. And when you're adding water, it goes way faster than flour as far as less water. Water is heavier than flour, so it goes fast. I'm at 92 already. 109, 114, 121. Close enough. It doesn't have to be exact. Now I'm just going to give this a good stir. Get the starter and the water mixed up nice. All right. Now I'm going to put it back to 0. And now we need 120 grams of flour. And today I'm just going to use all-purpose flour. Whoops, I dropped my lid, but that's my old lid. So it's going Gonna get washed anyway. All right, so 120 grams. Here we go. See if I can do this without making a mess. We're cooking it real. Oh, look at tiny hole. It's gonna be disaster. 36. 63. Oh, I should get a funnel. All right. 92. 105. 116. That says 124, and I think a lot of that is this. Yeah, 123. That's good. That's fine. Perfect. All right. Look at this. I don't know. What are you going to do with me? All right. We're going to give this a good stir. Good stir. Okay. Get all this goodness out of there. And now we're going to put the lid on, and we're just going to leave this out on the counter until it at least doubles in size. Okay, that's going to take several hours. Might even be till tomorrow, who knows. But then I'm not going to be baking with this, baking bread with this, so I am going to feed it again. So even if it's tomorrow, then we'll make our crackers tomorrow. Okay? Okay. Hey again, guys. Well, it is the next day, and I want to show you my sourdough starter. I fed it yesterday, and it rose up, it doubled, and then it came back down, which tells me that it really is looking for another good meal, and that's exactly what I expected. So I'm going to feed this again, just like I did yesterday, and I'm going to add the leftover to my discard jar, and then we're going to start making some crackers. I realized that I forgot to tell you what kind of crackers we're going to make. So even though it's been a day for me, you're probably wondering, what is she going to make? Well, I've got two recipes I want to do. One, a tried and true, and the second one is something brand new for me. The first thing is I'm going to use my basic sourdough cracker recipe to make a pesto cracker. And I'm really looking forward to this. We've had great basil this year, and I made some awesome pesto, and I'm going to put some in a cracker because I think it's going to be amazing. And then the second cracker is going to be something I haven't tried before, but I'm really looking forward to it. It's a 2-ingredient, no-roll cracker. It's like, that could be a game changer. All right, let's feed this guy again, and let's get started. Put a lid off to the side on my counter, and away we go. All right, now the first crackers we're going to be doing is the pesto crackers. And here's I only get about a half of this jar left, but it's going to work perfectly. This is my standard recipe. I use 1 to 1.5 cups of flour. If I'm doing an add-in like this, I will add 1.5 cups of flour. I need 1 cup of starter and discard, and I need 4 tablespoons, which is half a stick of butter. All right, so let's put the butter in here first. There we go. This is room temperatures, soft. It's not melted. This is just softened butter. Put that there. And now my 1 cup of discard. I'm gonna do like half of what I used yesterday and half from my fridge jar. That's about a half a cup. And let's see if I can do this as awkwardly as possible. Here we go. That's a good stir. Come on, you sour, my sour friend. And that's a cup. That's good enough. All right. Mix that in with the butter. I got me a nice little spoon here. And we're going to mix this together. All right, that's good and mixed. I'm going to add like a generous pinch of real salt. It's not salt and pepper. I don't know if you can see the specks, but that's just all the delightful minerals that's in the salt. All right, now for the pesto. How much shall I use? I don't know. I'm kind of winging it. Now in this pesto, it's basil, garlic, olive oil, walnuts, and Parmesan cheese. So what could be wrong with that? Nothing. All right, I'm going to start with what to me looks like, that looks like a good tablespoon, doesn't it? I'm going to do a couple of those. So that's like 2 really good tablespoons. I'm going to mix that up and see what it looks like. It smells good, let me tell you that. Delicious. Oh, so excited that we got good basil this year, because last year, oh, we got so skunked. We had a couple of basil plants that, you know, I started from seed and they come up a couple of inches and then nothing. Yeah, that looks good. Oh, it smells good. I think I'm going to err on the side of awesomeness and put in another this amount. So, okay, you do you. You know, if you don't have homemade pesto, you can buy pesto at the grocery store in a jar. It's not cheap, let me tell you. But homemade is way better, more fresh. All right, that's fabulous. Okay. You know what else I think I'm going to add? While I'm still in my kind of liquidy phase, I think I'm going to add a little bit of granulated garlic, just to give it that extra bit. I'm going to call that about a teaspoon. What do you think? Good enough. All right. Stir, stir, stir. And now let's add our flour. I'm going to start with just 1 cup. See how that works out. Got my 1/4 cup measure. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just like any other kind of cracker, if you wanted to use some whole wheat flour in there, you definitely could. All right, we're going to mix this up real good, starting with the spoon, and then I'm going to get in there with my impeccably clean hands. Yeah, when you put your hands in it, it feels awful soft. So I'm going to give it just like, it's a couple tablespoons to start. Mix that in. Woo! Are you a fan of pesto? You think this is going to be a good idea? I think it's going to be great. You know, still my all-time favorite is the pizza flavored crackers. And this This is kind of it's gonna give that same sort of feeling, especially when it's baking. We're gonna have that smell of the basil and the garlic. Oh, it's gonna be so good. Okay, one more little sprinkle. So that's about another tablespoon. So altogether, it's like about a cup and 3 tablespoons. But, you know, depending on how much pesto you put in will definitely depend on whether you need to add more flour or not. Okay, that is perfect. I love this. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this up in plastic. I'm going to put it in the fridge and let it rest for about an hour. All right. Okay, while our pesto crackers are hanging out in the fridge, getting all nice and together, let's start with recipe number 2. Like I said, this is a 2-ingredient discard cracker, and I've never made this before, so I'm really kind of excited. And what I have done, one ingredient is melted butter. Okay, this is the second half of that stick of butter, so this is 4 tablespoons or half of a stick of butter that I just melted in a little pan, and I'm just letting it cool just a tiny bit. And then I need 1 more cup of starter, and we're just going to mix those two together, and that's it. Now, for your flavorings, sky's the limit, okay? You want to put your flavorings on top. At the minimum, I would use salt, okay? But there are other flavorings that you can add. You can add herbs of your choice, like an Italian seasoning or herbs de Provence, or I think today what I'm going to use is I have some everything bagel seasoning. I'm going to use that on some. I've got some fennel seed. I love fennel seed. I'm going to use some of that. And then I'm going to just do some plain. It's an experiment. We're going to see what happens. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so I didn't have my camera turned on. So what I just did was I used 1 cup of my sourdough discard, and I used a 1/4 cup of melted butter. I just put a half a stick of butter in a little saucepan. I melted it, let it cool for just a minute so it wasn't sizzling, and mixed the two together. And they mixed really well. Okay, so now we're ready to continue on. I apologize for not being able to show you that. Okay, I've got my oven preheating to 350, and I've got my sheet tray. I got a piece of parchment. I just kind of crumbled it up a little bit to try to get it to lay a little bit more flat. Here is my batter, and here I have an offset spatula. If you don't have one of those, ding, you can just use a regular spatula or whatever you have that you think might work. I also have a little ladle here that I'm going to use to ladle this out. Now you can make 1 big cracker, or you can make smaller crackers. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start like this, I think. Just gonna put that down, see what it does. All right, let's see. I want to get this nice and thin. Oh, that looks good. Oh yeah, I think I'm gonna go for it. I think I'm gonna make a big old cracker. I'll set you down here for a second. Put a little bit more on here. I think I'm gonna do 2 trays. I'll wind up doing 2 trays. But that's cool. We got plenty. We got plenty. Alrighty. And let's see. I am not the most adept with an offset spatula. This thing seems huge to me. But oh, feels so nice and smooth. Wee. Wee. Get some ripples in there. Here's my knife. Let's see if this works just as good. Yeah, That works too. All right, I'm gonna add a little more like down here, and up here. I'm going for a big single. And you're kind of trying to make everything the same thickness as much as you can, you know? I mean, you don't have to get crazy. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's good. I think that's good. All right, I'm gonna call that for right now. And now let's talk seasonings. All right, well, the Everything Bagel seasoning has sesame seeds, dried onion, dried garlic, salt, and poppy seeds. So I don't have to add extra salt with this. So I'm just gonna take some of this in my hand. And I'm gonna sprinkle. Really gonna sprinkle nice and thick. So everybody gets some. Oh yeah, look at this. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm gonna do half the cracker or thereabouts with this. Beautiful. And then I'm gonna do the other half with some fennel seeds. I am a super fan of fennel seeds. I just eat them like little snacks. So good for you. They taste so good. I just love that flavor. So you might think, oh, that's too much fennel, but hey, if you're a fennel fanatic, a fennel addict like me, you say, no, you can never have too much. It's always good. All good. All good. Wee, look at that. How pretty. All right, now I'm going to give this side just a good sprinkling of some Redmond's salt. If you have seasoned salt, that would make a good thing, a good sprinkle. All right. Now it's going to go in the 350-degree oven for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Got to keep an eye on it. I'm going to start looking at it at about 18, 20 minutes because it's pretty thin. Just got to make sure. All right, here we go. Okay, friends, here's what it looks like at 23 minutes. And like it's still a little bit soft. I think it still needs at least another 5 minutes. So it's been 23 minutes, so maybe 28 minutes. Now that I've seen those crackers, I think I'm ready to start my second tray. And I do like how they're looking and how they're turning out. So I think I'm gonna just do it again and make like another one big cracker. One big cracker. Let's get the rest of this down. Come on out. There you go. You know, I've said it before. I'll say it a million times probably again, but every oven is different. And so, you know, you have to know your own oven. You have to keep your eye on things. You can't just go by what something says in a recipe because your oven is different. All right. I did have another thought while I was waiting. What I might do with these crackers. First, I'm going to spread them out. And definitely, you know, thin. The thinner, the quicker. The thinner it is, the quicker it'll take to bake. If your edges get really like crispy and they're done, but your center isn't ready, just take your, just break off the edges and put the rest back in the oven. You know, you don't have a whole lot of investment in this really. It's discard and a little bit of butter and some seasonings. Yes, some seasonings. Let's see. How am I doing? How am I doing? Doing pretty good. Okay. Now, I had another idea for seasonings. So let me show you what I'm going to do. I got a little bowl and a little spoon. And I'm going to take some cumin. Probably about, not a lot. That's about maybe half a teaspoon. I'm going to take some smoked paprika. Again, not a lot. That's maybe a little more than half a teaspoon. I'm going to take a dash of cayenne pepper. Not a lot. That's not even a quarter teaspoon. I'm going to add to that a little bit of garlic. That's my timer. I'm going to check those crackers again. A little bit of garlic and some salt. Mix all that up. Let me grab those crackers. Let's take a quick look. Okay, so I gave them an extra 5 minutes. Hot. That's hot. I think that might be good. All right, I'm gonna put these on a wire rack. I'm gonna take them off this tray, put this on a wire rack, let it cool. It might crisp up even as it cools. We'll just have to see. Okay, back to my seasoning. Now I'm just gonna put some of this in my hand and give it a good sprinkle. It's gonna be my Tex-Mex crackers. Get any ideas about what you might do for seasoning? If so, leave them in the comments below. I love to hear from you. You give me great ideas all the time. Yeah. I think I'm still just going to do about a half. Oh no, I got way more. I'm going to do the whole thing. There we go. Now, there we go. What was I thinking? Let's go crazy. There we go. Oh, that's going to be good. Going to be good, good, good. A little bit more over here, like so. I'm going to just give it a little wee sprinkle of extra salt. Now I'm going to put it into the oven. I think it's about the same thickness as the last one. So the last one I did for 27 minutes. I'm going to do this. I'm going to put it in for 25 and take a look at it then. Okay, the pesto crackers have been hanging out for their hour. So they're ready to start working on. They still feel kind of soft. We'll just have to see how it goes. All right. We have another piece of parchment paper. We're going to roll these out just like the standard crackers that I've been making. And here's a great tip that one of y'all sent to me. I am forever grateful about this one. I was complaining about my parchment paper always skittering around when I'm rolling things out. And someone said, take some drawer liner and put it under your parchment. And bada boom, bada bing, it sticks like a dream. It works perfectly. And I am so grateful for that suggestion. All right, we're going to start with just a little bit of flour on my pin and on the paper. And let's get about a third of those pesto crackers. Wrap you up, sit over here. Put you down, mash you out a little bit. And let's start rolling. A little bit more flour on top, just to keep everybody cool. Look at that. Doesn't even move, not even, doesn't budge a bit. I love it. Okay. Oh, these smell so good. I think what I'm gonna be looking for is some drawer liner that's in a wider roll, so it's like at least as wide as the parchment, because as you can see, it's just like, it's almost perfect, but I need a little bit more, a little bit extra. Okay. And these I'm gonna cut into squares. You've seen me do this before with my cheesy discard crackers and my chocolate graham discard crackers and my favorite of all time, pizza crackers. Let's see, have I done any other videos about those kind of crackers? I'm not sure. All right, now this is going to be a little thicker than the crackers we just poured out. Those were very, very thin. This is more like an actual 1/8 of an inch. Whoops. Got a little extra there. All right. I think that's good. Now we're going to slide this out. We're going to put this on a sheet pan. And then we're going to get it ready the rest of the way. First thing we're going to do is we're going to sprinkle a little bit of olive oil and brush that on all nice. Oh, nice and nice. Super duper. Then we're going to take a fork and we're going to prick some little holes here and there. Keep it from puffing up too much. And then I'm going to take my little ravioli wheel. If you don't have that, a sharp knife will do the exact same thing. And we're just going to cut these into squares-ish, okay? And I have found a good tip is to go in one direction and then the other, like so. I'm going to start up here and just make a skinny one. 1, 2, 3. Whoop, come back, you. 4. And you don't have to make them any particular size. If you're a particular person, go ahead and, square off your edges and make them gorgeous. Whatever you want to do. But I don't feel like that's something I have to do. So I'm just going to do them nice and easy. Now these are also going to go in a 350 oven. And these are probably going to take a little bit longer to cook. If those other ones took 27, then these are probably going to take more like 30, maybe even 35. So I'm going to put them in for 25 and then we're going to check them. All right. Let's see. But they're a little bit different because it has the olive oil on the top. I'm going to give it just a little tiny sprinkle of salt. And my oven is already preheated, so in they go. So these turned out really great. And the no rolls could not have been simpler. I'm definitely going to do this again. I'm going to start with these pesto crackers. I wound up baking these for 30 minutes. And they were still just, they were not crisp around the edges, really, but when they were a tiny bit soft in the center, but by the time they cooled, they were nice and crispy. So I'll show you that in a minute. All right, put you off to the side. Now for our fennel seed and everything bagel. And I'm going to suggest that you take these apart over a sheet tray or a plate or something, a piece of paper towel, parchment, just something to catch the crumbs so you don't lose them. Okay, so let's start here. Oh, look at that. Pretty, pretty, pretty. And listen, if you do have small pieces, don't throw them away. They taste just as good, and you can use them for, oh, look at that, so cool. You can use them for a salad topping or float them in your soup, anything like that. Oh, I like this. It's so pretty. It still smells so good. These are completely cool though, I will say. See, something like that, you could throw that on a salad, no problem. All right, let's break this guy up. Oh, love it. Beautiful. And let's see, what did I do? These were 27 minutes altogether for the no rolls. And you can break these up into small crackers, big crackers. You can just leave a big hunk like that and let people break up their own if you want to. Look at the color on that. Isn't that gorgeous? Remember, this was my Tex-Mex with the cumin and smoky paprika and what else? A little bit of cayenne, salt. You could use chili powder or anything like that. Like I said before, you make these your own, okay? Now, honestly, when you look at it like this, the pesto ones almost look kind of dull colored. I wish they had a little prettier color, but it's all in the taste, right? Whoop. There we go. Yes, break it up over the tray, Kathy, just like you said. Don't break it up over the serving plate. Ta-da! All right, the first one I'm going to taste is the Everything Bagel. Beautiful cracker with garlic, onion, poppy seed, and sesame seed. So crispy. That's excellent. Let's try my fennel seed cracker. Look at that. Just fennel seed and salt. Happy place. This with a nice glass of red wine. Perfect. This would go good with like a little chunk of cheese or piece of salami. Ooh, so good. All right. Set that aside and finish that in a minute. Now let's try this one. This is my Tex-Mex. These are so beautifully crunchy. They're almost like a chip, In fact, you could flavor them like a chip. That would be really cool. Like with some ranch powder on there, or even in there into the batter, or both. Why say or when you could say and? All right, last but not least, I'm going to try one of my little pesto crackers. Little beauty. Definitely more of a cracker texture, but good pesto taste. Might need even a little more pesto. Still good. Delicious. All of these I would recommend. I hope you try them. And if you do, let me know how they turned out for you. And if you have any suggestions about different flavors, let me know that too. Okay? Thanks again. Thanks for spending your time with me today. I really appreciate it. And until next time, keep cooking it real, my friends. Bye-bye.